welcome back. Today's guest is a man on a mission to explore the world one plate at a time. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago, he's an Army combat veteran who traded a successful 17-year career in the auto industry for a life of adventure and storytelling. As the creator of Traveling Foodie Guyde, he has built a massive online community by showcasing restaurants, hotels, unique experiences from around the globe with a fun, positive, and uplifting perspective. He's a research nerd, a master of cinematic cheese pool, and he's on a quest to visit all 7 wonders of the world. His goal to host his own TV show and share his infectious joy with millions. Please join me in welcoming the man with the endless appetite for life, the one and only Markiss Stone. Markiss, welcome to the show.
Man, you make me sound
And the crowd
good.
goes wild. Quinn, you're supposed to do that. Yay! Yay.
I'm clapping.
The studio audience is going loud.
I'm clapping too because I'm trying to figure out who that dude is.
Yeah. Well, people can fact check if they want.
I'm like, what kind of AI Gemini was that?
Right.
You made me
It's
sound
called
good.
Manus. It's Manus. Like I talked about the last bowls, and we'll talk about that some other time. I've been putting Manus to work, which means it's costing me more money.
Good gosh.
So,
Thank you for making me sound so good, man.
Yeah,
that sounds real good.
You are. So, man, appreciate you, making the long drive to come here.
Oh, you mean like 4.5 minutes down the road?
But no, I'm really excited about this. Excited about 2026, and it's mid-February. We got a lot of year left, and you and I are always talking about conquering new things, getting after new things. So this will be a fun one. So let's start in a little bit of your background. Obviously, you grew up on the south side of Chicago. Tell me a little bit about that and how that shaped who you are today.
I'm so glad that you asked about where I grew up because I think that it was very foundational in shaping the person that I am today because I think it created a lot of grit in me. It created an environment that wasn't so great. I grew up in the Woodlawn area of Chicago. A lot of people may not know, like they may have heard of O Block or something like that. Like I could literally walk to O Block 2 miles east of me. And it's just a very bad neighborhood. But what it did is that created this image in my head of, I knew that there was more to life than just that. And I was very curious, George, to try to figure out what that was and show the determination to do whatever I could to just get out of that kind of environment.
What gave you that glimpse into that there was more?
Honestly, it was my cousin when he came back from the military because I grew up in that area and then I lived on like South Shore Drive for some years when I was in grammar school and whatnot. And then I moved to the hundreds, and like in Chicago, you move around a lot for some reason, especially if you got family all over. But right around the time where I was a senior in high school, my cousin came home from the military and he was a recruiter. And he like saw the living conditions that we lived in, and he was like, "Cuz, we got to get you out of this, right?" And so I was just like, you know what? He was like, "What do you want to do after college?" And it was really me answering his questions that made me come to my own realization that like, whoa, there's got to be more to this. He's like, what are you going to do after high school? Go to college. Where are you going to go to college? I don't know. Probably Kennedy King, community college or whatever, which is not far away. And how are you going to pay for it? I don't know. Student loans, something like that. It was just me verbally answering those questions out loud was like, wow, there's got to be more to this, And so that's what inspired it.
Well, and while you were saying that, it made me think of a John Maxwell quote, which is "Good leaders ask great questions." So your cousin sounds like he was a great leader.
I was his first recruit in the military.
Nice.
Yeah, his
Nice.
cousin.
Well, we'll talk about the military. Where were you at during the Bulls run? I'm a massive Michael Jordan fan. You and I haven't even talked about this, but
in the living room watching, like it was like a bunch of us surrounded around this little 13-inch TV, like watching the Bulls win all those championships, and it was crazy. Like when you grew up in Chicago and lived in the 90s, and you got to witness it on TV. And we didn't have enough money to go to the games, but everybody was just crowded around the TV, just going crazy. And after they would win the championship, you go outside, people take the guns, pow, pow, pow.
Yeah.
It's just people doing weird stuff, throwing over cars, setting cars on fire, robbing liquor stores. It's just what went down, But it was, I don't know if it's sad to say it was all out of love and fun, but like that's what
absolutely.
you do.
Absolutely.
When the Bulls win the championship, you go rob liquor stores and burn cars and stuff. It's the early 90s though,
college towns, they burn the couches and whatever. Like Yeah, that's amazing. So military.
Yeah.
So your cousin was the inspiration then?
Yeah, he came and got me to go like fresh out of high school immediately into the military. I signed up for the military on Christmas Day 2000. I was swearing in, and all I had to do was just graduate in June. And as soon as I graduated in June 2001, I went to the military. And September 11th happened actually while I was in basic training.
Okay.
So I was like,
Oh my
wow,
gosh.
like I literally I just turned 18, just joined the military, and bam, you going to war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where were you deployed?
To Iraq. I was
Okay.
in Iraq from September 2003 to April 2004.
Wow. How well, first off, thank you for your service.
Thanks for the acknowledgement.
Appreciate that a lot. I didn't realize the timing of all of that. I know we've talked a little bit about it before in the past, but how did that time and experience shape, your mindset as a man today?
A lot of people ask me how the military shaped me, and I still, after all these years, after over 25 years, I don't have a definitive answer because it's very hard to say. Like, a lot of people, when you think military, you think like discipline, structure, all that kind of stuff. I think I had discipline and structure before I went into the military. I just was in a not so great environment. I love the fact that they had core values. Like, that's something that has always resonated with me and always stood with me. Like the acronym leadership, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honorship, integrity, personal courage. Like, I still remember that to this day.
Yeah.
And it's been over 20 something years. I'm impressed with myself with that.
Yeah,
I
look
still
at that.
remember that,
Look
right? So like when I got into the the professional world, core values was something that I always thought was important. Like, so I got a few promotions and I moved out here to Indianapolis in 2017 to take over a dealership when I was in the automotive space, and core values was something that always stuck to me. I ended up working with another dealership, and like immediately when I went in there as a leader, I was like, okay, what's the store's core values? And nobody could recite it to me. And so like core values and core principles of who you are, like, has always stuck with me. So I think that's probably the main thing that I took away from the military. Always having a core value of who you are, what you stand for, and what's your non-negotiables.
That's so good. A lot of the business owners I get a chance to work with, core values always comes up, because if you build core values that you not only write on the wall, but it's on your heart as well. Yeah. It becomes part of the leadership conversation, right? So if you have to have a hard conversation with somebody, you can point back to this, like, we agreed upon this. Yep. And it's agreeable standard for us to be able to hold to. So,
yeah, you hit it.
So kicking off the journey for where we're at today, it seems like from my deep research, and you've talked about it before with me, but it was that first trip to Greece.
Oh my gosh,
that really kicked it off. So I'd love to hear about.
Listen, don't let Alex fool y'all. Me and Alex talk all the time. He knows my deepest, darkest secrets. Right. Alex know everything about me. All these questions, he already know the answer to, y'all. Right. But so how Traveling Foodie Guyde actually got started was on a trip to Santorini, Greece, and I went to my first Michelin star restaurant. And at this point, I had been traveling to a few countries, but I was the guy that was in Paris asking for steak and chicken and stuff like that because I was comfortable with things. And it wasn't until I saw my daughter like literally eating Michelin star food that I still can't name to this day. Right. And just seeing her just not even blink, just eating all these things that I deemed weird. And I was like, I'm too old. Like, here she is, she's probably 9 or 10 years old, something around there, 11 maybe. And I'm like, I'm way too old to be like in my comfort zone when it comes to food, and this little girl's doing her thing. So I'm like, give me that. And so like, before I was about to eat it, I said, hey, record this. And so she recorded me trying my first piece of Michelin star food. And I was like, oh, that's not bad. And then so that was the thought. And then it wasn't until later where I got the bill and it was $750 that I was like, there's gotta be a better way. Right. And so like, the light bulb went in my head of, I'm always telling my employees to get outside your comfort zone, do things different. In order to get results you've never had, you have to do things you've never done. But here I am afraid of food, right? So I was like, well, what if I took my talent and my passion and my love for social media, content creation and radio, TV communication and things that I actually went to school for. What if I applied it to something that I love, which is like traveling and stuff like that, and then mix that in with a little bit of getting uncomfortable, trying things I've never tried before, putting it all on camera, building this brand. Maybe I wouldn't have to pay $750 for a Michelin star restaurant. Maybe I could get it for free, or maybe they may pay me because I built up a big following and stuff like that. So that was the idea and how Traveling Foodie Guyde was created right there in that moment.
Nice. And then did you come back from Greece and kick it off, or what was the next step? Because you were in the automotive industry at that point, right? So
immediately, as soon as I got back from Greece, I planned my first foodie tour, and I had never been to New York, and I had some PTO that I had to use. So I scheduled a food trip to New York, and so I went to like Lombardi's, which is the first pizza place in America, and just tried to find the weirdest, most different type of food that I've never had before. And I just scheduled 3 days up. And the crazy thing about it is, like, back then, New York was already ahead of the quote unquote influencer influencer content creators game. Like I only had like 2,000 followers at the time, like probably 2,300 to be exact, but they were already treating me as if I already had like 50,000 followers. Like I would go to places and I would tell them, hey, I'm an aspiring content creator who's looking to build a brand based off of food and travel and stuff like that. And they would be giving me free food and stuff already. And it's like New York was just way ahead of the game. Right. The hotel that I was staying at, I was like, yeah, I'm building this brand where I want to show people how to travel and eat and blah, blah, blah. And they would take me to the top floor and give me like access to places that people didn't have access to. And I was like, man, I can get used to this. You know what I mean? And so
you got spoiled on your first, you're spoiled on your first trip.
Automatically.
Set some crazy expectations for you.
Probably. Yeah, automatically. And it's crazy because when I first created Traveling Foodie Guyde, I actually was traveling to a bunch of different cities and stuff. I wasn't creating content in Indy because I had only been living here a few years. I didn't see Indy as a food scene or anything like that. So it was all about doing what I love, which is traveling and trying different foods, right? But it wasn't until I actually started creating content in Indy that my followers start to grow at a rapid pace.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So another one of your big missions that you're going after is the 7 Wonders of the World.
Yeah.
Where are we at with that? How many do we have knocked out?
I got 6 of the 7 knocked out of the 7 Wonders of the World. And I actually just finished a session the other day. I still got more to go, but I actually have all the 7 wonders of the world tattooed on my arm. Like that's how, I learned a long time ago, when you create your goals, you put them in front of you where you can see them every single day because you're more likely to accomplish them. So what better place than to actually put them on my arm? So the only one I got left is China. So that's going to be on the list here pretty soon. And yeah, we're going to get going on it.
And you said you're traveling somewhere here like next week. What's your next up to bat?
Egypt.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to Egypt next week.
Nice. Awesome. All right. We're going to jump into some business.
Let's talk business.
The business of business.
This is Bows and Business.
That's right.
Got to talk business.
That's right. It is. So, okay. So you have a couple of different businesses really inside your business. You have your Traveling Foodie Guyde, right? But then you also have your metrics marketing, right? So let's talk a little bit about that, wherever you want to go with that, and how each one's grown.
So I've never in a million years thought that I would be an entrepreneur. Like I thought that I would retire from the automotive industry. It's the American dream. Like make as much money as you can, live out your wildest dreams, buy all the cars, buy all the houses, buy all the cool tech stuff and all that, right? Until I started like auditing my life in my like late 30s, early 40s. Like, what am I passionate about? What does fulfillment look like? What is all that? You get this temporary happiness when you make X amount of money and you can buy things you've never bought before because you didn't have the best finances growing up and stuff like that. So when Traveling Foodie Guyde started to grow as a brand and I started to monetize it and scale it and create some goals that I started to accomplish it, your head's in the way, by the way. When I started to monetize that and scale it and grow it as a brand, I started looking at it as a business, as if, the same way I treated the automotive space. And sure enough, I found out through some of our great friends, Tim and Alexis with Blend Wealth, that, you can formulate that LLC, get a S Corp going, and there's some advantages to it and whatnot. And so after I accomplished some goals, I took the leap of faith and I decided that, hey, I want to do what I love and get paid for doing what I love the rest of my life. I have a certain talent, a skill set that's appreciated, scaled it. And, I was like, what comes with a lot of money? A lot of headaches.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I was like, maybe I don't need to make a ton of money. Maybe I need to make enough money to pay my bills, make sure the kids are cool, make sure I can travel and stuff like that, because those are the things that's most important to me. And so I took that leap of faith. So Traveling Foodie Guyde is going pretty good, making less money than automotive, but my mental health and my happiness is a whole lot better, right? So that's important. Metrics Marketing and Media, I created that business a year ago, and the first year actually did better than I predicted. Turns out that, so what Metrics Marketing and Media is a place where I help small business owners with content creation, video ads, and social media management.
Okay.
Because when I was literally teaching that, I used to, from the Traveling Foodie Guyde brand, everybody wanted to know, how is this guy like growing his brand so fast? I was like, well, there's a need. People want to learn how to grow social media. So I started, coming up with these webinars and seminars and stuff like that to teach people how to grow on social media. But what I found out was people, after I taught them, like, yeah, great, valuable information, the way I presented it, all this, but then people would get back into the real world and they wouldn't execute on it because they were too busy.
Right.
The business owners they got to run payroll. They got to look at expenses. They're looking at P&L statements. They got to manage this. And there's so many things, and like social media content was the last thing on their mind. So I created Metrics Marketing and Media to say, hey, you know what's important, but if you don't have the capacity to do it, delegate it to me. I'll do it for you because I have a passion for content creation, and clearly I know how to grow a brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I created Metrics Marketing and Media, and that's exactly what I've done. Thanks to a lot of great people inside, like the Bowls in Business group, I've been able to have a few of those people as clients and friends to help them achieve some great results through through meta video ads and content creation and things of that nature. So that's going really well. And in 2026, it's already starting out. I'm branching out, and I'm working with people in different spaces like real estate and home services and things of that nature. So far, so good.
So I was saving this for later, but you brought up the Bowls in Business crowd. So
yeah,
I've got some messages to share with you because you've made a massive impact on a lot of us in the Bowls in Business.
Make
crowd.
sure you're recording this, Julie.
Leah, our friend Leah with Bulldog. She said he was awesome in coming in my class and speaking to 30 students. They were so inspired. He gave up 5 hours driving and speaking. Kids loved hearing about faith, social media, and life. And she said she always appreciates his encouragement, engagement, encouragement on Bulldog Moving Social. It means a lot, especially when it's coming from the GOAT. And then
Thanks, Leah.
Catherine Shank from the Speedy Scoop. I think Speedy Scoop was one of your first ones.
Yeah.
You could tell him that we're grateful and thankful for his talent and professionalism, sharing our business and creating an amazing video clip. We appreciate him so much for the connection.
That was amazing. I love working with Speedy Scoop. Like Kathy was great, and then just to see the results from it, to know that I was able to help a business like 3x their business in one 30-second video that I helped create for their business, like that. A lot of people don't think like that. Like, a lot of people think you pay me to do a job, I did my job, it's done.
Yep.
Like for me, somebody said something the other day. I want to make sure I'm recording this. Somebody said something the other day that really resonated with me. They said impact over impressions. Mm-hmm. And that meant a lot because it's not just about what I do. It's how can I impact and have somebody else get a great result from what I'm able to help them be able to do. It's cool to go viral and get hundreds of thousands of views and all this kind of stuff, but what kind of impact can I make? And the one thing that kind of like comes to my mind is like Big Ben's Barbecue. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna set another recording for that. So like Big Ben's Barbecue, this is a prime example of impact over impressions. Like the video has it has like over 1 million views in 1 week through Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook and whatnot. But this kid's life is completely changed. We got a 19-year-old kid that slid in my DMs that said he needed my help to get his business out there. And I just had it on my heart to say, I'm not going to charge this kid. He's 19 years old, still in college and just trying to make it. And he's got a small food truck. And the impact, like he had to hire 2 additional family members just to help him keep up with business. I mean, you're talking long lines in the Indiana winter, snow, cold, 0-degree weather. Yeah. People are lined up to support this kid because of the mission based off of something that I created for him.
Yeah.
That's the kind of impact I'm after. That's like they call it the Keith Lee effect in the foodie world. Like that's what I want to happen every single time. And I've had instances of that like quite a bit, but like from my heart and me, like I want that kind of impact to happen every single with every business that I work with.
Yeah, and it shows like just in that statement, it shows the impact that you have on both parts of your business, right? Mm-hmm. Because the Ben's Barbecue, that was the impact through traveling Foodie Guyde and your channel and your reach. Mm-hmm. And when you speak on a place, you are speaking out of a place of authority and authenticity.
Yes, sir.
And then for Speedy Scoop, you didn't leverage your following. It was something that you created. It was the strategy, right?
Exactly.
I remember watching it and the truck pulling up and like every part of it. It was a professional commercial.
You see how big I'm smiling right now? Like, because that's me and my element. A lot of people know me for Traveling Foodie Guyde, this on-screen personality that's charismatic with this big, larger-than-life kind of deal, eating food, cheese pulling, and all this kind of stuff. But like a lot of people don't know Markiss and the creative aspect behind it of how I can go into a situation and just my brain. You see those little things like on what was that movie, The Hangover, where he's thinking and you see all these formulas in his head or whatever. Right. Like when I walk into a space where I get to create, that's where my brain goes. It's like all these formulas just formulating like, ooh, this camera angle there and this and that and this color grade and this sound effect and this like off camera. I got my videographer with me, Julian, and he just started working with me and he's had the opportunity to actually see me in that capacity. Right. Because prior he just knew me from Traveling Foodie Guyde, what he saw online. But then he got to meet the metrics marketing and media side of me that comes in and comes up with these crazy concepts and these ideas. And then when it's time to execute on them, and it's just like, he's like, okay, this is different. You know, I really want people to really see that side of me. And honestly, it's hard because I wanted to always separate the two. Like I just wanted to be known for the results that I can give people. But with social media, like people want to know your personal life and your personal story and what goes on behind all this and that. So that's me getting outside of my shell and providing that to the people. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have a rule where it says, I don't even know if this is right. I might have to, nice to say rule. Does that sound right? Oh, yeah. We're talking about the restaurant part. Yeah. Okay. Let me rephrase that. Okay. So talking about like when you go to visit restaurants, one of your rules that you have is you have nothing nice to say rule. Tell me what that means and how. No, so that's kind of word. You may want to read like on the editing part. So if I don't have something nice to say about the food, I don't talk about it. Yeah, I'll fire my my AI assistant that came up with that. You want me to just dive in, or you want to rephrase it? Yeah, I'll rephrase it. Okay. So obviously you get restaurants that are reaching out to you all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And you've probably been to some that the visits aren't all that great, right? Yeah. So how do you handle that, right? Like what does that look like? That is a phenomenal question, Alex. And I've addressed it a lot, and I'm okay with addressing it a lot on your podcast too. So when it comes to food, restaurant, content creation, and things like that, a lot of people that are on the outside looking in feel that when content creators and quote unquote influencers are being compensated, whether it's free food or money or whatever, that kind of like steers them in a way to not be honest and truthful. And yeah, there are people out there like that, but I've been doing my brand for over 4 years now, going on 4.5 years. And I do have a rule. My rule is if I don't like it, I don't necessarily talk about it. Now, some people may see that as not being transparent, right? But I don't see it that way, and I'm gonna tell you why. My main objective, when I first started creating content in the food and restaurant space, we were right out of COVID. And when I went into the restaurants and I saw the impact almost immediately of people going into these restaurants based off of the content that I created, I found out that a lot of these restaurants were like close to closing, bankrupt, all this stuff because of COVID, right? And so when restaurant owners were reaching out to me afterwards saying, hey, we got so many people coming in because they saw your video. I'm not in the red anymore. I'm in the green and stuff like that. At that point, I was like, this is my mission to be able to help these restaurants. So I want to promote them in the highest fashion. That doesn't mean that if I take a bite of your macaroni and cheese and I don't like it, I'm going to look at the camera and say, this is delicious. That means that if I take a bite of your macaroni and cheese and I don't like it, that's not what I'm going to showcase in the video. I'm going to showcase my preferences, the food that I actually like, my recommendations, because if I put my Traveling Foodie Guyde stamp of approval, I'm saying that this restaurant is worthy of you going to check out, because at the end of the day, food is subjective. We all have different taste buds. I may like something, you may not like it. What I don't like is that when people call you a liar for that. If I say the mac and cheese is good and then Alex goes to the restaurant and says, Traveling Foodie Guyde is a liar, that macaroni and cheese is bad. That's what I don't like, because at the end of the day, like me and that restaurant owner can have a conversation off camera. Hey, your macaroni and cheese can use a little bit more butter, a little bit more salt, a little bit more cheese or whatever. But I'm not going to go on camera and say I like something that I don't, because at the end of the day, in over 4 years, there have been 5 places that you didn't see on Traveling Foodie Guyde's page because it was just too much of what I didn't like. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's just not gonna work for my audience. There's not enough for me to go on and say that I like it enough for it to make sense to my audience. And specifically with Traveling Foodie Guyde, obviously the restaurants is a core portion of that, but I also see you do, grocery store footage. I see you. You just did something with some snacks just the other day. Yeah. How are you like expanding that? So Traveling Foodie Guyde as a whole primarily is all about food, travel, lifestyle, and multiple capacities. So thankfully, I get what's called brand deals in my space. And what that means is a big brand, a national brand will look, they have people that go on social media and look for talent and stuff like that. And they'll see my content and like, wow, we really like this guy. He's charismatic. He's got good, great quality filming style. We want him to represent our brand. And if we have that conversation and we're both in alignment, then yeah, we'll do a paid collaboration. And brands, they have big marketing budgets, so they're able to pay content creators a little bit more than restaurants. So if a brand is in alignment and the message makes sense for me and my audience, I'll go ahead and do that. But I will tell you, like, I have integrity, I have morals. There are brands that I've like turned down brand deals that reach out to me, and it's very hard, right. But it does happen. But then sometimes, you know, I survey my audience and I ask my audience about what they want to see, or sometimes I just throw stuff against the wall to see if it sticks. Like at the beginning of the year, a lot of, when it comes to food, a lot of people are eating healthier and stuff like that. So you may see me in January in a grocery store telling you about healthy swaps, because I can't just be out there just constantly promoting big back meals all the time, right. Because honestly, that's not good for people. You know, like, it's okay to enjoy yourself and indulge and stuff like that, but I don't want every single video that you look at for me to be eating big stupid portions, and because it's not good for the health. So correct. What a lot of people don't know is outside of eating like all the big back food and the stuff you guys see me, like, you go look in my fridge and my pantry, you're gonna see a lot of organic stuff, you're gonna see a lot of healthy stuff, because that's my way of like balancing that out. Like, I work out, you know, right? So I don't want to paint one picture online that you guys got to constantly eat all this stuff when I'm not doing it too. So I try to diversify my content to incorporate healthy stuff too, because I got audience members that are vegan and vegetarian and stuff like that. I read the comments. They're like, hey, they got any vegan options at this place? Hey, any vegetarian options? Any healthy stuff? So I try to please everybody. It's never going to happen fully, but you know, that's the reason why you see a little diversified content from me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. TV show, big dream TV mm-hmm. show. What is that? It's what would that look like? Your dream scenario?
So my ultimate goal is to have either, and that's transition because of time. When I first started out, remember, I went to high school and college for radio, TV, communication. So the big thing was always being on TV. That's what like the goals were for people that's in my creative space. But now we've transitioned to a point where, heck, you got you got social media personalities that are more famous than the people on TV and making millions of dollars. Like, think of like iShowSpeed and Kai Cenat and Drewski and all those people. You got these social media personalities making millions. So it's like, why be on TV when you can just continuously build your brand and, you know, get paid a lot to do what you love? So, but at the end of the day, I was inspired by Guy Fieri. Like, that's why my Traveling Foodie Guyde is spelled Guyde instead of Guide, because he was big inspo for what I do in my space. And my ultimate long-term goal is to have my own TV show that is basically, I'm your human itinerary. I'm your traveling foodie guide. I tell you where to go, where to stay, what to do, and what to eat, all in one like show. Because typically when you want to know where to eat, you go to Food Network. When you want to know where to travel, you go to the Travel Channel or Discovery Channel. Like, I haven't seen one 30-minute segment that encompasses the entire itinerary. I want to be your go-to guy that tells you where to travel to, what hotel or villa or whatever to stay in, what activities to do in that space, and what cool restaurants to go to and stuff like that, all in one setting. Forget you having to do days, weeks, and months worth of research to create your travel itinerary. I want to do it all in one episode. Yeah.
How do you take that from vision to reality? Like, what needs to happen for you for that breakthrough? Is it a city? You know what I mean? Or is it like? If
I'm being honest with you, I honestly think that all it takes is for me to continuously be consistent on social media with my content and have a growth mindset. And one day somebody's just going to discover me and be like, that's the guy, that's the this and that. Yeah. There's a couple of ways we can look at it. Either A, I can continuously like build it myself. And as I travel more outside of the country, I can start creating content based off of that. And then I'll accumulate a following. And then the social media monetization comes from it, and the sponsors and the this and the that. Or I'm not opposed to working for someone like a network, like a Travel Channel or something like that. Like, did you see that Will Smith documentary, Pole to Pole? Like, that looks dope. Like, I was like envisioning myself as doing that, but incorporating the food and where to stay and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, I'm not opposed to that. Like, entrepreneurship is cool, but at the end of the day, I just want to do what I love on a larger scale.
Yeah, and I wonder, you know, with more and more Netflix doing more and more stuff, right? Yeah. Like, almost, I love to, you know, begin with the end in mind, where you look at, okay, what would it look like for you to create your own thing to get on Netflix.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And understanding what does that cost, because then you kind of work your way backwards on like, how do I get sponsors? I need my videographer. I need my plan, all that kind of stuff.
Netflix, come with the bag. Netflix, your talent people that's out there searching on social media, look for Traveling Foodie Guyde. You may like what you see. You might want to put some money behind it.
Absolutely.
MJ needs some Pampers. Let's go.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. No, I love that idea. That would be, and I mean, we went down to watch Blue Man Group the other day. Yeah. So before we did, we reached out to Keeping Up Downtown.
It's dope.
Amanda, and asked her. I was like, hey, we're coming with the entire family, so it's got to be right for Augie on up. So she made a couple of recommendations for us. So.
And you know, the crazy thing, I saw this on social media, like something happened with TikTok. It went down or something. And there were so many people online talking about, now those people need to get a real job. You know what I learned? I learned that over 70, I've heard two different statistics, so don't quote me on this. I've heard that over 75% of people in the normal workforce don't like their job. I've heard over 90% of people in the normal workforce don't like their job. So you got 75 to 90% of people who go to work every single day and hate their job, and they go online and complain about people whose job is to create content that they're actually watching. Like, in what world does that actually make sense? Like, why hate on somebody for getting paid to do what they love just because it doesn't look like what you're doing at your sucky job that you hate?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one. It grinds my gears, Alex. It does, because creators. I don't think that creators get enough space. I'm sorry. I don't think that creators get enough respect for what they do. Mm-hmm. Like, people are on social media more and more every single day consuming content, but then they hate on the content, which is what I just don't understand. And if they only knew, for me, I'm speaking specifically for me, the amount of time, effort, and energy that goes into creating a 60-second video for my vision, from planning the shots to mood boards to going in the restaurants, certain angles, filming, lighting, constant adjustment, drone footage, constantly refreshing my vocabulary so that I don't say the same thing on 900 and something videos, then going home and spending 2.5 to 3.5 hours editing just to give you 1 minute of a video. Like, there's not enough respect for that.
Right. Understood. Couple of more questions for you, and the thought kind of came up as you were talking, like, outside of doing what you're doing work-wise, like money-wise, like, what just really brings you joy? Like, what do you love to spend time with and just brings you a lot of joy?
What brings me a lot of joy these days is two things: my kids and traveling. Like, honestly, at this point, at 42 years of age, at the timing of this podcast, that is what I am ultimately the most passionate about, and what literally lights fire into my soul. Every time that I go visit another country and I'm experiencing another culture, another food, another lifestyle, another experience, like, I'm just on cloud nine when I'm doing that. Every time I'm watching little MJ just say a new word that I've never seen him say before, or transition from walking to running, or just doing something quirky, like, I just get this feeling like inside of me that just, like, your heart melts and you feel your body temperature rise and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll just go look at him in his crib while he's sleeping, you know what I mean? And then when my daughter sends me a text message, and she's a freshman in college now, and she's like, I just got my grades back and I got all A's, or, hey, I nailed that interview and I got the job that I wanted, and blah, blah, blah. Like, those kind of moments, like, those are the things that literally light my soul on fire right now. Outside of those two things, my life is dedicated to making sure that those two avenues are great.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I'm going to look at the camera and say this, like, I know this man as a friend, and he is a hell of a father.
Thanks,
he
man.
really, really cares about his kids and celebrates them.
I appreciate that.
When the world gets really crazy and fast and moving 1,000,000 miles per hour, just right now we were talking about weekend stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get MJ, and so I just love that. And
we have what people don't know that's listening to this podcast right now, watching this podcast, like, you and I still remember the day you slid into my DMs, and I was like, who's this guy? What does he want from me? Yeah. And then, like, we met in person and just instantly we clicked. I love the biggest thing for me was the faith-based, like, anything that we've ever done with each other. Like, we pray before we have conversations sometimes. Like, there's always a God and a spiritual element that you bring to it. You've provided so many different perspectives for me, and, like, I'm so glad to call you a friend. But if you listen to this podcast, me and Alex, he already knows the answers to a lot of this stuff that he's asking.
Well, I got some fun questions here in a little bit.
All right.
But before I get into my like rapid fire questions that I think are going to be a lot of fun.
Don't put me on the spot.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm gonna make you uncomfortable. No. Advice for small business owners, right? Like let's say it's somebody that's just getting started with their business. Advice for them. It doesn't even have to be content, social media related, right? Like if you're sitting across somebody that's looking to get something started, what would you tell them?
Yeah, so if you are a brand new business owner, the first thing that I would tell you is run. No, I'm just kidding. Don't run.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be honest, I am a small business myself, and I have only legit been in business full-blown LLC for like just a couple of years. So take my advice with a grain of salt, but understand this. Just because I'm new to entrepreneurship doesn't mean that I'm new to business, because I have been in a high leadership level for several, like well over a decade in previous businesses and stuff like that. Number one, I would say whatever business you're going into, have a marketing plan, because you can have the best service or product in the entire world, but if no one knows about it and you don't put money behind it to spread the word about it, you're not going to be in business very long. I've seen a lot of businesses fail, not because of the product wasn't great or that the service wasn't great or anything like that. It was just the fact that nobody knew about it. And so what I find out is like some business owners don't know anything about marketing and branding. They just figure I got a great product or I got a great service and word of mouth is going to take me everywhere I need to go. Like they find out real quick that ain't the road.
Right.
Number two, leverage social media. No matter how silly you think you look on camera or how uncomfortable you are on camera, let me tell you, like there have been kids that have built massive amounts of like financial success just by putting a camera on themselves and putting it out to the world, because they're not worried about the people that are going to judge them for the content. They're worried about the people that are going to love them and support them for the content. And you want this to be higher than it. You don't care about this. This is what you care about. And the next piece of advice that I would tell that business owner is to create long-term and short-term goals for yourself and write them down and put them somewhere where you can see every single day. Have that long-term goal that's like pie high in the sky that is almost unaccomplishable, but because we've all heard the phrase like shoot for the moon, land in the clouds. Like the clouds is a pretty cool space to land if you don't accomplish that. But how cool is that journey on the way up? What are the daily habits that you can create that you can look up in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and you'll be further ahead than where you want to be? Some people don't have tangible written down goals of like where they want to be, and I would also say write down tangible goals and intangible goals, because you want to know what one of the most important things in the workforce is: culture. If you're a small business and you got employees, it's not just your business you're looking after. The culture you create will help you maximize your success quicker than some of the tangibles. I learned a while ago that it's the intangibles that actually bring the tangibles. If you treat your employees the way that you would treat a family member, depending on who your family is, if you treat them like gold, like I've heard places say, I treat my employees better than I treat my customers, because if I treat them great, that's going to transition and burn off into the customer experience. So that's some advice that I would give them.
Well, and a couple of things, if you are interested, I mean, I would highly recommend if you're a company out there and you want more leads, reach out to Markiss and have a conversation with him. Something unique about Markiss as well is, because of his background in the car industry, he's also very talented at sales and sales processes and sales motions. Because most of the business owners that I meet with that I'm trying to help, they love the industry that they're in. Like they love, like, I love coffee or I love accounting, right? Whatever that thing is, that's why they got into what they got into.
But they don't love sales.
But you got to market it and you got to sell it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like if you don't have lead, like like I've really nailed my process down, where it's like the first thing I look at is like, what's the total addressable market? Is this something that lots of people need for the area that we're in? Check. Okay. Now, do we actually have a really good offer? And then how are we going to get that offer in front of people? Yeah. And you can help with all that stuff. Right?
I can, man. I mean, heck, I've moved millions and millions and millions worth of steel through those car transactions, whatever. But if you can sell cars, you can sell just about anything. Like I learned so much in the auto industry in terms of sales, marketing, branding, and advertising that I can go into a lot of spaces and be successful, because realistically it's about the principles and the knowledge and the things that you learn in that you can apply to other industries. It's a lot of it is kind of parallel.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that industry, you get so many at bats, right? You know, in the wireless industry, our reps used to see about 250 customers a month. So you take that out all across the year, you're getting told no 75% of the time.
Exactly.
So they step into another industry and they're like, this is nothing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, this is no big thing at all. So.
You say no because you don't have enough information to say yes.
Right.
What information are we missing here that I can, get that? So
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. All right, you ready for some rapid fire?
It is time for rapid fire.
Awesome.
I am not good on the spot, so if y'all ready for a good laugh, this is going to be the spot right here.
Good. I want you uncomfortable.
Let's go. Usually when people do this to me on podcasts, it's all about like, what's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? What's your favorite ice cream? What's the
yeah?
And I've been to over like 500-600 restaurants. Some of this stuff is a blur sometimes.
Yeah. All right, we're getting to rapid fire section here. Sponsored by Julian. No, I'm just kidding. It's not sponsored by him, but eventually we'll have a actual sponsor for the rapid fire part.
Okay, let's go.
If someone has one meal in Indiana, where are you sending them?
I knew you were going to ask that question. I'm about to make so many restaurants mad with this. My new favorite restaurant is Piedra. I'm sending them to Piedra. We have an upscale Mexican steakhouse that I am absolutely in love with.
Where's that at?
It's on Mass Ave downtown.
Okay.
Yep,
Nice.
right at the it's in the Bottle Works district, in the brand new spot that they just built.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, what item do you instantly judge a restaurant by?
Cleanliness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Craziest or most unexpected food combo that actually works?
Peanut butter on a burger.
Yeah, got it. Gas station food. Guilty pleasure or hard pass?
Only if we talking Wawa.
Yeah, there you go. You like Wawa?
Love Wawa.
Yeah, legit. Yeah. Quinn's co-signing on Wawa.
Yeah.
Also, Quinn would co-sign on crazy food combos because I come home and this dude's got mayo on pizza. He does the most random.
Miss me with that one.
yeah, same. A restaurant that totally surprised you, way better than expected.
I've already said them in another podcast. I need somebody else to shine. Exceeded my expectations. I go to so many. This is tough. I'm thinking recent. Can we pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, pass.
Yeah, sure. Only pass you're allowed. No, I'm just kidding. What makes you immediately want to feature a local business, right? Like you kind of mentioned with Ben's Barbecue, but another experience like that you were like, I love this person.
There's a couple of different things that makes me want to feature a restaurant. Number one, if they have something like an outrageous menu item that is unique that I've never tried before. Or number two, if they're really struggling really bad and they have excellent food and excellent service, but they're barely making payroll, their P&L statement, they're in the red, they're losing money. And I can come in there and with a 1-minute video and just pump life and just, that's what'll make me want to do it.
Yeah. And another like shout out to you because you've done this, right? Where you've met with restaurant owners and you're like, you'll reach out to me and be like, hey, Alex, will you connect with them?
Yeah.
They could use a little bit of help. So, I just appreciate your heart for people. And
100%. Like this is my living. I get paid to do this. Like this is how my mortgage, my kids and all this stuff, like this is how I make money and make a living. But there are exceptions to the rules. I have a heart. If somebody is struggling and I'm not like struggling myself, like I just have it in my heart to go help them. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One mistake you see restaurants make on social media that drives you nuts?
Not marketing.
Yeah, just nothing.
Yeah, not understanding the value of marketing on social media.
I think this is going to go with your first answer, but if you could only eat at one Indiana restaurant for the next year, where's it at?
For free?
For free. For free 99.
Who's got? I'm looking for a wide range of stuff. This is tough. Oh, this is so big backish. If I could only eat at one restaurant for the rest of the year, I'm going to Clutch Kitchen.
Okay.
I'm going to Clutch Kitchen.
I was telling the boys about this place because we're big Smash Burgers fans.
Yeah.
Right? And her looks like her stuff's incredible.
The Cuban, the wings, the burgers, the fries. I mean, it's ultimate comfort food, tons of flavor, ultimate savoriness, delicious sweetness, mixture of everything. I'm eating Clutch Kitchen for the rest of the year.
Nice. And where's she located?
Right inside Sun King Brewery in Fishers District.
Nice. Nice. Okay. And then last question. Name an Indiana restaurant that you think that's just going to absolutely blow up. So it's like you're kind of looking into the future and you're like, this thing is going to go places.
The one that markets the most.
Yeah.
Piedra.
Okay.
Piedra is a brand new Mexican steakhouse that is just phenomenal. It's right in the heart of downtown Indy, right on Mass Ave.
Nice.
Luckily I've been a part of being able to do a collaboration with them to spread the word out to the masses. But it's a great restaurant. I don't think everybody always has something negative to say. Maybe only one person in my comments of that video said that they didn't like it, but you go to that restaurant, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, love it. Restaurant owners, business owners, but especially restaurant owners, I highly recommend you reach out to Markiss. I think you'll be shocked at the data that he's able to provide you, right? Because we all want to understand and get a good ROI on our investment. And the thing that I like to, when I'm referring Markiss, the thing that I like to talk about is think about that lifetime value of a new customer.
Yes.
Markiss is going to drive new customers into your location, right? So even if you're a business that's been open for a couple of years and you want some fresh customers coming in, don't look at it as like, what's my return on investment going to be in month one?
Exactly.
Look at it as like what they're going to keep doing. Like I know with Everbowl, if I sign somebody up on a loyalty membership, they're probably going to spend $200.
Let me talk about that part because I know you can go deep into that part. The thing is, I thought I was like super analytical into providing that data to the restaurants until you gave me a different perspective and a way to look at the lifetime value of that customer. Instead of just that one transaction and what's your ROI month one, like, no, what's the long term? Because if that one person first of all, how much does it cost to acquire a customer? Number two, when that customer does come, what's the average dollar that they spend and how much that customer is actually worth? And then if they frequent that restaurant X amount of times per year over X amount of years, what is the lifetime value of that customer? So I want to shout you out for teaching me that because I've never lost sight of that when I'm talking to a restaurant about understanding where true value really lies. Yeah. Because a lot of people are surface driven. They want the results immediately. They're bleeding cash. How many people can you go viral and get into me this weekend? Forget about that. Let's talk about out of how many people that's going to visit you this weekend is going to tell their cousins and their coworkers and their family members. And like, how much are you going to get from referrals? How much are you going to get from repeat? How much are you like? Let's look long term with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think business owners get stuck. Business owners in general, they get stuck in that loop of they look at the short term right now, right, instead of cost of acquisition versus the lifetime value.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously, this, I mention all the time, I'm very bullish on influencer marketing. I think it's one of the best places that you can put your dollars at and you can actually measure. And that's not even talking about picking up social media followers that are going to be around forever. So,
and there's people out there that will passionately argue and disagree with you when it comes to that,
right.
Alex. You will be surprised at people that literally, and all right, I'll say this safely. I saw a comment. All right, I'm just going to say this because this is going to be a good soundbite. I'm not going to say anybody's name. All right, start here. 3, 2. I saw a small restaurant owner post in the Facebook group for Indiana foodies or whatever that they were looking to work with content creators to, bring awareness to their restaurant. And I saw a comment from somebody that said, as a content creator myself, I am opposed and always will be opposed to quote unquote working with influencers. Now, the first thing that went through my mind is it's such a gray area conversation because you can argue it so many ways. But obviously I'm biased, but my bias comes from a different place because I've helped businesses get so many great results. And so I'm like, by you making that statement, you could be potentially preventing that new restaurant owner from making a lot of money by working with a good content creator that has validity, that has the data to back it up, that has the skill set and the ability to reach these audiences and create these awareness. But by you making that statement, you just potentially prevented that business owner from growing their business.
Yeah, absolutely. Other plug that I'll give you, if this is something that you're still interested in doing, if not, you're going to have to do it anyways with people. But if you need somebody to MC an event, like if you have an event and you want to make it a party and make it fun, hit up Markiss for that as well. I think that I watch a lot of the events. I actually said the same thing I was talking with Nate Spangle. We grabbed lunch the other day.
Nate's great, yeah.
And like a lot of these people that are emceeing events, it's like what are we doing here? You know what I mean? And I think that you're absolutely incredible at that.
You seen me, man. You had me.
Great
Yeah.
at it, and you guys could be part of like that new blood and energy that's going out and doing that stuff.
It's just it comes from a genuine, pure place, and thank you for having me do public speaking and things that and interviewed in big settings and stuff like that. It's just something I'm passionate about. So who knows? I might be open for it, but hey, depending on what your situation is, I don't know if I'm gonna be the right person for it. Don't be inviting me to your weird P. Diddy parties and all that. I'm not gonna host that.
No, not up in here. Not up in here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, friend, thank you. I'm super proud of you.
Thanks for having me.
I always feel weird saying I'm proud of you to people, right? Like I don't know what it is, but
Okay,
like
Dad.
Quinn can attest to you. Like I'm just always, because I am. Like I authentically feel that. Like I obviously am always cheering you on. Love to celebrate your wins, and I'm just praying that you just have a massive 2026 and
thanks so much.
Just continue to grow this thing and travel the world and see all the great places. And I need to start praying that there's no fog when you go to these places. You'll have to go look through Markiss's Instagram videos, but still just some incredible places that you've gone to and journeyed to. So
I appreciate it.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Thank you so much for having me on.